If the stressor continues beyond the body's capacity, the resources become exhausted and the body is susceptible to disease and death. The transdicular theory. The transdicular model produced in 1970 can be used to understand stages experienced when trying to change behavior. The model shows that change happens gradually and sometimes relapses happen but are important in achieving a change of behavior. Stage 1 starts at pre-contemplation. This is when people consider making a change. Stage 2 is contemplation, where people become more aware of the potential benefits in stage 3. In stage 3, preparation stage, they begin to make small changes. In stage 4, direct action is taking place. Stage 5, maintenance, involves avoiding previous behaviors and keeping up new behaviors as people become more confident in their ability to change. Stage 6, relapse, are common and people may experience a feeling of failure or frustration. The model can be used to explain the behavior of people choosing the exercise more frequently to get fit. Using the model, it is clear that people contemplate exercise more within their week when progress to prepare. For example, by joining a gym, the action stage is when they actually attend the gym and begin the program. The maintenance stage is when they keep attending or reviewing the exercise program. During the process, there may be frequent times where the person relapses back down the stages of the model. For example, a busy schedule may prevent attending for a couple of weeks, which makes it more difficult to regain the motivation to regularly use the gym again. The planned behavior theory. This theory of planned behavior, developed in 1985, attempts to explain the process of human decision making and behaviors. It sets out that the first stage is the attitude towards the behavior. For example, if you think it would be a good idea to start a dance class, the next factor is the subjective form, what other people may think, culturally norms. For example, if your friends think it's a good idea to start attending a dance class, the third aspect that affects the decision is the perceived behavior control. This is an evaluation on how easy or hard the activity or behavior is. So in the example, it would be what your perception would be towards the dance class. Are you likely to be able to dance well enough to find it achievable? The theory predicts that a positive attitude, and if you believe others think it's a good idea, you believe it's achievable, you are much more likely to make the decision to do the behavior. So in the example, if you are keen to attend a dance class, your friends think it's a good idea, you believe you can dance well enough to cope with the class, then you are likely to make the decision to attend the dance class. Health belief theory. The health belief theory was developed in the 1950s. It explains motivation behavior. It has 6 constructs: perceived susceptibility for problem. The person has to feel threatened and personal to them. Perceived seriousness. The risk is serious or fatal. These 2 constructs are about threats. Perceived benefits of the action, health benefits, savings in cost. Perceived barriers to taking the action, negative barriers such as time cost. They are aspects of the pros and cons of the action. From this, a person decides if they have the ability to carry out the action. A sporting example of this theory is in action would be a personal trainer program. The perceived susceptibility of the problem would it be the health risk of being unfit or obese. The perceived seriousness would be the increased risk of heart disease and stroke. The perceived benefits of starting an exercise program would be reducing health risks, improving body composition, reducing weight. The perceived barriers taking the action would be the cost of paying for a personal trainer or gym membership, and the difficulty in allocating time to train in the working week. Taking all those factors into consideration, the person will make a decision as to whether they have the ability to commence an exercise training program. Barriers preventing exercise. 4 types of barriers, which are physical barriers, things like if the person has low physical skill level or if the person has a serious injury. Emotional or physiological barriers such as low levels of confidence or low levels of motivation to do the exercise. Another barrier is time constraints. An example of this is if the person is very busy and has a lot of other commitments like exams. The last barrier to exercise is financial. This includes the cost of the hall and the equipment might be too much for the participant who is taking part in exercise. Graphs. 3 physiological factors. The physiological factors that most affect participation are self-confidence, motivation, and frustration. The physiological factors affecting participation is self-confidence. If the person is lacking in self-confidence, they would not want to attend situations that make them feel uncomfortable. This would affect their ability to attend new exercise classes or programs. The graph from the survey showed that young people were less likely to have increased the levels of exercise since leaving school. This supports the view that it is more difficult for people to attend exercise or sports class in an environment that is new or unfamiliar. Participation in physical education at school is a compulsory element in an environment that is very familiar to students. This helps those people who are lacking in self-confidence to participate, whereas once they have left secondary school, attendance in sport classes is no longer compulsory and people have to make an effort, which can be difficult today if lacking self-esteem. Another factor that affects sports participation is motivation. To compete in regular exercise, a person would need to be motivated. For example, for many people, a, a source of motivation may be body composition or health benefits. In the survey, participants reported that they were much more likely to attend regular exercise if they had a friend or family attending with them. Attending with friends or family gave them the motivation they needed to participate. And lastly, my last physiological effect, psychological effect would be frustration. This will affect participation levels because it can be difficult to start a new sport or exercise. The improvement in the sport can take a long time to achieve. This long-term commitment can be very frustrating and requires people to commit to a lot of time to improve. This can be difficult for young people who have many commitments on their time. This is supported by the results of the survey, as people reported that one of the largest barriers to participation was frustration and time commitments.